Welcome to Sky Broking Commodity Weekly Market Commentary. Disclaimer: this weekly market commentary is for information purpose only. Before taking any decision, consult your financial advisor. Major data of this week will have inflation and economic related data, and the major event European ECB President Lagarde speaks on Thursday. Now let's see the precious metals outlook. Gold and silver has news like gold is choppy mess, and that could last a while if Treasury yields continue trade range bound. Tapering expectations for the Fed have been pushed to the end of the year, but the only thing that could get gold going if pricing pressures start to ease. Right now, Treasury yields seem to be the primary beneficiary to hotter inflation, and that should send a dollar higher, which is negative for precious metals right now. Fundamentally, this is a slight negative news for precious metals, and technically speaking, gold may expect a negative range-bound trade in between 46,130 to 47,606 levels. Silver also may expect a negative range-bound trade in between 62,163 to 65,150 levels. These are the major precious metals outlook. Now let's check out to see the energy outlook. First is crude oil. It has the news like if crude demand improves as the Delta variant peak appears to be across most of the world. The US production was decimated by Hurricane Ida in the Gulf of Mexico and should start returning. Fundamentally, this is a mixed news for crude oil, and technically speaking, crude oil may expect a mixed trade in between 4,893 to 5,183 levels. Next is natural gas. It has a news like the US natural gas storage fields adds 52 billion cubic feet over market expectations, and the US natural gas consumption to decline through 2022 led by the electric power sector. Fundamentally, this is a negative news for natural gas, and technically speaking, last week we mentioned natural gas positional test at 365 levels, and that was actually reached, and in this week natural gas remains in a high volatility trade, and until if it crosses over 375, which means profit booking may be expected at 339.5 levels. So these are the energy outlook. Now let's see the base metals outlook. First is copper. It has the news like copper inventories dropped by 12% in the Shanghai warehouse. This is fundamentally a positive news for copper, and technically speaking, copper has a close above 744 on daily basis and will be the further rally positive up to 759.25 levels. Next is aluminium. It has a news like falling global inventories, Chinese supply worries caused by power rationing policies, and buoyant physical premiums were just some of the factors behind the aluminium recent rise. Added to these, this week is the political uncertainty in bauxite-rich Guinea, and this is fundamentally a positive news for aluminium, and technically speaking, aluminium has witnessed a positive trend. Next is lead. It has a news like China PPI for August grew at a faster pace, sending non-ferrous metals to the bullish zone. This is fundamentally a positive news for lead, and technically speaking, lead may expect a positive range-bound trade. Next is zinc. It has a news like zinc output in September is likely to add 11,800 MT from the previous month. Supply was sufficient and is likely to surpass demand. This is fundamentally a neutral news for zinc, and technically speaking, zinc has witnessed a positive trend with resistance of 261.15 levels. And the last is nickel. It has a news like inventories in Shanghai Futures Exchange registered warehouses were high this week, with nickel registering the biggest rise up at 44.7%. And this is fundamentally a negative news for nickel, and technically speaking, nickel may expect a high volatility trade. So these are this week's commodity weekly market commentary. For more profits and information, visit our website www.skybroking.com. Thank you by Sky Broking.